Hey folks, this is MHP here. Been about 3 weeks or so since I did the last update on the greenhouse tomatoes and stuff. Before I get started, I got to do a little bit of housekeeping and give credit where credit is due. First of all, got to thank God for the chance to do this. I've wanted a greenhouse for quite some time, and He's blessed me with an opportunity to do it. It's a lot of work, but I asked for it, and this is what He gave me. So I'm going to see it through, and it's actually a lot of fun. A lot of enjoyment, a lot of personal gratification, seeing the results when things work out. Some of them don't work out, and I'll get to that in a minute. And secondly, I got to thank all the people at the Bayou Gardener Forum, the people that watching this and are just getting into gardening. Go look up the Bayou Gardener. It's a little fella down in Louisiana. Started this, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. Got a nice little forum where you can post questions, get answers, get all kinds of help to just about anything you need with gardening, and get a lot of support from those folks. So give them a look, see if you can't find something to help you out. But we'll start with this one right here. This is my first 2 little tomatoes that were just getting started the last time, somewhere along in there. They are nice and red today. I think I'm going to pick one and give it to my neighbor, because this was the plant that was the volunteer that he brought me. It just started to bloom when he brought it. So I'm going to give him 1 tomato, and I'm going to keep 1. And I told my wife what we do is we cut it in half, and she could have half and I could have half. And she said, well, no, we'll just make a BLT out of it. And I'm thinking, well, you want to make a BLT, that's okay. It's going to be a lot of bacon, a lot of lettuce, and not a whole lot of tomato, because they're just not very big. But anyway, the rest of the things, tomatoes have grown quite a bit. Looking at them, looks like everything's doing really good, but sometimes looks are deceiving. And I had posted about a mix-up in seed. All this stuff right here was supposed to be marglobes. Now, I planted marglobes in the garden this year in some soil that wasn't the best in the world, and it didn't look right, didn't come out right. But I figured it was a soil thing, and I didn't pay attention enough to what some other people had told me about the shape of the tomato and how it's supposed to grow and things like that. So I went ahead and tried them again, and this is what I end up with. This is one plant that actually did halfway decent. I got 4 nice little tomatoes here and a couple more above it. But as you can tell, that is not a marglobe. A marglobe is supposed to be round. Things like this right here, this not even close. So they just did not work out. They look about the same as they did in the garden. So apparently it wasn't the soil. It's just a bad run of seed, and it's the wrong seed at that. So I think what I'm gonna do, most of these have a little bit of fruit at the bottom, even like this one right here. Got a couple, not a whole lot, but I may cut the tops off of these things to make them go ahead and finish ripening up, and get these out of the way, and put me a little rack system right here to put my seedlings and stuff on and start the plants. May do that. Had a little bit of trouble with blossom drop. And if you look at these things, this is what a lot of the blossoms have done. They didn't do anything. They just barely formed. This right here didn't do much at all. These marglobes have been, well, I don't know what the heck they are. They're not marglobes anymore, but they did not act right at all. If you look at this right here, all you see is a bunch of stems coming up, and puny looking stems. It's a pitiful looking plant now. And I saw kind of what was happening with a lot of these. They were bushing out real quick, and there was nothing coming out the top. So after watching some videos about greenhouse tomatoes, I decided I would go and start pruning. And this was the first plant that I pruned right here. And it had the first cluster on it, and then we come up 2 or 3 leaves, and then we got the next one, go up a few more, you got another cluster, come up again, you got another cluster, and then coming up again. This is the way the thing is supposed to grow. And this was the first one I pruned, and when I saw what was happening, it started acting right. I started pruning the rest of them a little bit here and there to make sure that it was going to work out. And I saved a couple of them. This is one that I didn't. Obvious. It looks a mess. I mean, it looks like a regular tomato in a cage, same as this one right here. They do have tomatoes in them. Most everything got the first sets of tomatoes very good. Just about everything. I don't have any problem with these too much. Did have still a little bit of blossom drop. You see this right here? It's just not going to form, but they are coming back now. Temperature wise, it's 76 in here right now. That's sitting on the ground, so it's a little bit warmer, 5 or 6 feet in there. I'm having to start stringing these things up. I'll just run them up to the top, up to there for right now, and if they keep on growing, I will run them over to the center purlin right there. Have to train them at an angle, which I think I can do. Peppers, these little peppers on the ground, they're still doing pretty good. Growing kind of slow. I did go ahead and put the cages around some of these. They don't need a cage right now. Not as far as the growth wise, but they need a cage as far as my foot wise, because there was one that was right there that is no longer there. I just stepped on it, squashed it. On this end right here, where I had the plastic just stapled up, what I did is go ahead and put the furring strips up and close off the compartment where the door is, because there's no weather stripping on the back side, and there was a lot of cold air coming in through there. And that really helped out last night when it was cold, windy. It was a terrible night. About 3 o'clock this morning, it was 19 degrees outside and 49 in here. That was a little cooler than what I'd like to have, so I cranked the stove up real good, and it held 49 for a while and then started creeping on up. By 5 o'clock it was up to 60 degrees in here, and I started feeling a whole lot better. So having good wood is a definite plus as far as trying to heat this thing. The rape salad right here, we picked that 2 or 3 times and it still keeps on coming back. Tastes a lot like turnip salad, just a little bit sweeter. This kale is pitiful. I don't do a good job with teeny tiny seeds, and everything is just too thick in there. We've cut it one time and ate a few little leaves off of it, not a whole lot. The lettuce right here, you can see the rabbit's been in there. We've had a lot of salad come off of that and still making plenty of it. The mustard right here, same deal, been cut back and still keeps on coming. And the onions over there, still doing their thing. There's some broccoli slips, about 2 dozen or so, if anybody around here in Southern Virginia would like to have some to stick in the pot real quick. I've got some planted down the side over here. Got 28 planted down there. I think that'll be enough broccoli to last us a little while. So I don't really need these slips right here, but I hate to pull them up and throw them away. The cucumbers right here are still doing good, surprisingly, because it hasn't been all that hot in here overnight. I try to keep it 55, 65, something like that. So they're doing good. They're going to need a home very shortly, somewhere where they can start running up, so I've got to work on that. The carrots right there, I am trying to keep the soil loosened up around there, so maybe they will get more than 3 inches long, hopefully. The spinach, we've been eating spinach and lettuce salad. Wish I had some of these cucumbers and tomatoes to go with it, but gotta wait a little while. And the squash right here, you can look and see nice little fruit coming on there. Both of these right here, somewhere on there, he's on there. But what I gotta wait for is the male flowers to come out, because these have to be hand pollinated, so I got to take the male flowers, cut it off, and then rub it on the female to pollinate it, so make sure I got some decent squash to eat. And that's about it for the vegetables right now. I think this video is like about 9 or 10 minutes, something like that, so I'll go ahead and stop it right here. But hopefully in another few weeks I'll have my seeds started and get some of these greens off the ground in here, and start with another system I'm working on to start growing a whole lot more tomatoes and cucumbers and things in here. So I'll see you guys then.